Welcome in to week 17 of the BDE Fantasy League podcast. I'm Devyn.
I'm Gifford.
And, well, this is championship week, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
Oh, man. Well, we are coming back from our Christmas vacation. Thank you for allowing us to take a week off. Our audience is so generous. They allow us these things, these courtesies.
They're brutal. No excuses.
Right.
No excuse.
Thank you for that. The playoffs started a couple weeks ago, and we had some nice matchups. Last week, though, we had Brittany versus Gifford.
Yeah.
And in that one, well, Brittany was not able to pull it off. I predicted that she would. Unfortunately, we did predictions off screen, but that's how it goes. I thought that she would win, or I hoped that she would win, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't. Gifford took that one. You want to go over that?
Yep. Nobody wants me to win this year. Well, let's just put that straight. But, guys, it's happening. It's inevitable.
Inevitable.
And I'm here.
Scott, you hear that?
I'm here.
Yeah. Spoilers for the other match. Tommy versus Scott. That one came through like most of us expected it to.
The poor showing a rough way to end the season for Tommy.
Very rough.
86 points.
Yeah. After just crushing some dreams in the final week of the regular season, and then coming through and beating Omar, and man, it's been a long journey for him, but unfortunately this is where it ends. You still get to fight for third, though.
That game couldn't have gone any worse.
No, he finished with about 86 points.
Every receiver flopped.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of your running backs flopped. You started the wrong quarterback. So I think even you would have put up a better fight.
I would have. I mean, looking at the scores.
Yes.
I didn't put much stock into this week, but even with the lineup I did set, I scored over 120.
Yeah.
But that's the way things go, unfortunately. Let's see. So speaking of predictions, actually, I am just going to say that I took the predictions home.
You did? I forgot what week it was that I fucked up at. But there's one of those weeks I got a couple wrong, and he took full advantage, and I was not able to recover. So
yeah, looks like in week 12 you went 2-3, and in that same week I went 4-1.
Yeah,
and that allowed me to hop over and
because we were tied for a while.
Yep. And then week 9 we actually Let's see. I went 0-5 and you went 1-4. That was not a good week.
That was a funny one. We thought we were so confident.
We're always so confident about it, but that's the way it goes. So that brings our current record right now to 52-22 for me and 49-24 for him.
So basically, Devyn's getting dinner on the house. So
hey, free dinner from your winnings, your inevitable winnings, as you say.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get rid of all that because we are here to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is the championship matchup.
The main event.
Between Dark Knight and Slob on my Dob. These two teams, I mean, they're the 1 and 2 seed. It's about as boring as you can get, but hey, that's what happens some years, you know?
Yeah.
It's not as fun. There were no real big upsets other than Tommy taking on Omar and beating him. But
not gonna lie, really throughout the playoffs. A lot of close games, a lot of blowouts.
Yeah, a lot of really boring games.
A lot of blowouts. I thought I'd have to sweat some of these out, and Cam Akers gave me a run for my money. There, a shout out to Cam Akers.
Shout out the Rams. Tyler Higbee with 2 touchdowns. That was a crazy game. Poor Broncos. Poor Russ.
Patrick Starr started roasting Russell Wilson in the first quarter.
That is not what you want him to cook.
He went from Super Bowl champion to Patrick Starr roast. So.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over these two teams, okay? So the lineups that are set right now at quarterback, we have Kirk Cousins versus Joe Burrow. And in this one, honestly, it's not close for me. Joe Burrow takes the cake in this. Cousins, he is solid. I will give him that. He can, any week, go off for over 30, but he is generally a, top 7 to 10 quarterback.
And Joe Burrow is top 5 this year, even though
Yeah.
he doesn't want to say he's top 5. He's top 5 this year.
Joe Burrow is top 5 this year.
Um,
That's just how
But
it goes.
125, is that a primetime game for Kirky? Or
No, that's a mid-afternoon game.
mid-afternoon?
Yeah. I don't know. But it is also against Green Bay, at Green Bay, in the cold.
That's a big game for Green Bay.
Fortunately for him, though, it is only a low of about 30, I think, so just below freezing.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. Not for what it could be in Green Bay in December.
Right, considering some of the games last week were -10, -5.
Yeah.
So,
This week should be a little warmer across the board for everybody.
right.
Meanwhile, Joe Burrow, I mean, he doesn't have it. Well, he has a little bit better. He's playing in Cincinnati at home against Buffalo, though. So it will be potentially high-scoring game. This could be just a brutal shootout for both teams. Both of them need to win. They are fighting for the first seed, the only bye.
Yes.
So I fully expect Joe Burrow to go off. However, I mean, who knows? Maybe the running backs in each matchup could go off.
Maybe. We'll see.
And speaking of the Vikings at Green Bay, let's move on to wide receivers, where you have Justin Jefferson going up against Green Bay, as well as DK Metcalf and DeAndre Hopkins, who now has Chase McSorley.
I think Colt's coming back this week.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, is McCoy good with him, though?
Better than McSorley.
That's true.
It'll give me
people are.
it'll give me 9 instead of 0.9.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
and he gets to go up against Atlanta, so that'll be a softer matchup for you.
True.
On the other side, we have Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, and Keenan Allen.
Solid.
They're all solid. I think we mentioned it on the podcast 2 weeks ago. They are all, well, like you said, they're solid. They're good wide receivers. They're not amazing like Jetta's. They're not, number one like D-Hop. But they're good.
Devontae's been on fire recently, so that's I need him to calm down.
Devontae went for 30 last week?
Yeah, he's had a couple 20-point games in a row, I think. So
Yeah, but they had their better quarterback in. So this week they have to go back to Jalen Hurts, unfortunately.
Is he actually going to play?
I hope so. I
Okay.
hope so. But that's just because I like him. I want him to compete. I do like Gardner. I just like the Eagles this year. I don't know what it is. I like Devonta Smith. I really like A.J. Brown.
You don't like Booby Sanders?
That's it. I'm not a huge fan of Booby, but he's okay. I'm sure he's a fine dude. I haven't looked much into him. But I really like Gardner and Jalen Hurts.
He did go on the record saying he didn't care about people's fantasy, so that kind of throws that in there. He's not Austin Eckler.
Who? Oh yeah, Booby.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. They all have their personal insights.
Yeah.
And I mean, to put myself in their shoes, if I had a bad week and I had a whole bunch of people shitting on me,
Right.
I think I would have the same feeling. I don't give a shit about your fantasy teams. Oh, you put $20 into a league? Congratulations.
I didn't mind. I mean, it sent Omar home, so one less person to worry about.
Right. Yeah. So in this matchup, what are you thinking for wide receivers?
I'm confident in my team. I think Jetta's takes up 2 receivers, basically. He's like another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think DK is solid. I think he covers up about 10 targets a game, and I think D-Hop gets back on track and not 0.9 points. So,
Well, we mentioned it before.
Yeah.
DK might be covered by Sauce. And, Sauce is a talker. And DK is not a great listener.
DK might only play the first half of that game.
Yeah, it might be ejected. Are we predicting an ejection?
He might. If we're predicting projection or like
An ejection?
an ejection, then
Yeah.
DK's out of there.
Yeah. I don't know. DK's a little hothead, but that's all right.
A
We
big
love him.
hothead.
Right. So yeah, wide receivers, I think I give that one to you as well. Next up, we have the running backs in both teams. Here we have Derrick Henry and Saquon for Scott, and we have Christian McCaffrey and Tony Pollard for Matt.
Scott might have the upper hand on this one.
Which is wild, because when you hear Christian McCaffrey and Tony Pollard, they've both been incredible this year. Pollard's really come into his own. It's just crazy that he's even putting up a fight. Saquon and Henry are that fight. They got this. Honestly, Christian McCaffrey's top 1 or 2 in the league. But then you have Saquon and Derrick Henry, who are both top I don't know, 6, I would
Right.
say. Maybe at the very, yeah. But then Pollard is like 8 or 9.
Sure.
He's up there. He is a very good running back for fantasy specifically.
Yes.
And, well, we'll see. Yeah. Derrick Henry gets to go against Dallas in Tennessee this week, which means Tony Pollard is also playing on Thursday night. These two both go at Thursday.
And they're both questionable, so maybe they don't go on Thursday.
Well, I hope they do. I hope both of you guys have fully healthy teams besides, Brees and Wan'Dale Robinson.
We both have plan Bs, though. Scott has Rashad White.
Mm-hmm. You have J.K. Dobbins or Tyler Algier.
I have Chubb to throw in there, too, if I want to throw in a receiver at flex.
Yeah.
So, we have plan Bs, so no worry there.
Sounds like you got a plan A, B, and C, D, like all the way down.
You got to always stay prepared, stay ready.
Clearly.
You always.
All right. So in that matchup, do I want to go a 1-8 or do I want to go a 3-4?
Well, if we're going projections from the whole season, where are we going to put Chubb in there? Because Chubb's...
Well, yeah, Chubb could be brought up, but I was leaving him for flex.
Sure. I'll give the advantage to Scott. I want to show Scott some love. I really like Derrick Henry. And I genuinely think Saquon's comeback player of the year. I can't think of another player who's come back. Maybe CMC, if you want to put him in the conversation.
Gino, maybe.
I
mean, he's starting to cool off.
But he's starting the right back. But
unfortunately,
I'll give the slight edge to Scott.
Yeah,
slight.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. So yeah, Saquon and Henry for Scott. We're giving running back to Scott.
We can skip the tight ends. Because
there's not much to say. It's Okonkwo versus George Kittle. It's clearly Kittle. There's not much I can say.
George Kittle is Brock Purdy's little security blanket, and I love it.
And he gets to play against Vegas.
Yes,
like he's in Las Vegas this week. It's in a dome. He's Brock Purdy's safety blanket. Like he's going to score a lot again. That's just what he does.
Yes.
On to yeah, he has 2 Tennessee Titan players. So hopefully Thursday doesn't go bad for you, Scott.
Who's the second Tennessee player?
Okonkwo and Henry.
Ooh.
Yeah, he has 2 of them on
I
Thursday.
have 2 Dallas players, so hopefully Dallas doesn't shit the bed either. So
Pollard and Maher.
Yeah.
The kicker. Yeah.
Now we're going to
at flex.
Zonovan Knight versus Nicholas Jamal Chubb. I think that's his middle name.
Is it? I don't know. I haven't looked it
up. That's a complete guess.
Well, Zonovan has been kind of bad the last 2 weeks, but looking back, it looks like those are the games with Zach Wilson. Those are 2 games that he only scored 2 points, but before that, with White, he was going off for like 15 points a game.
I think he's permanently in the doghouse now. Zach Wilson is.
Oh, yeah. Zach Wilson was inactive. Or I think he's inactive now.
A healthy scratch.
Yeah.
So we will see. It's kind of an unknown rookie running back against the Seahawks defense. So we'll see.
One of the worst run defenses in the league. Let's say that.
It's an intriguing matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So
and in Seattle, which we know this year the Seahawks like to disappoint in Seattle. So
man, yeah.
Yeah, Zonovan has a great chance this week, but I'm not trying to jinx anything.
And then for now, I have Nick Chubb going up against the Washington Commanders, who have a very tough defense.
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey last week had a very hard time getting going. I think his touchdown saved this week, fantasy wise. So
yeah, he ended up doing well, but
yeah,
it will be raining, so hopefully that means for him he gets a lot of carries.
But it's not looking great, guys. And I'm gonna save this for bitching hour. But Deshaun Watson.
No, we don't even have to save that. Deshaun Watson has been awful for Nick Chubb.
Terrible.
Just terrible. Man.
Bad coaching.
Poor Browns fans. The ones that didn't cheer for Deshaun, like, I feel bad for them. Because
they didn't ask to pay him $200 million.
They didn't. And that's what their team did.
Bananas that he got that contract.
That's a bad franchise, bad team. Like, they have not been good.
I would love to see Chubb on another team. Please.
If Chubb goes to a better team, that'd be fantastic. I hope he demands a trade, just out of spite. Because he's so much better than what he is on the Browns.
Yes. Well, we saw what he did.
Good.
We saw what we did with Jacoby Brissett. I mean,
yeah. So, as of right now, though, the gap between the two players is a lot smaller than one might think.
Right.
Chubb still has the edge because he's Nick Chubb, but Zonovan Knight, I think he can hold his own this week. And
I think he can.
It's a possibility.
It gets toward a point where it's Zonovan Knight, and then is Chubb due for something? It's been 6 games, so it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on to the 2 kickers here. We have Brett Maher, like I said, at Tennessee. Looks to be a fine weather game. And then Nick Folk, who was disappointing last week, actually.
Missed all the extra points and field goals.
Yep. And he gets to go up against Miami in the rain in New England.
I'm confidently going to give Maher the advantage. He got me 18 points last week.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting a big outcome. If the Titans do put up a fight, I think the Cowboys win that game and stay offensively speaking, scoring a lot of points.
I think so. And Dallas has a lot to play for right now, so
yes,
I think they will be.
And defenses is very intriguing as well. Jacksonville has a very good defense.
And they're going up against a very bad offense in Houston.
But I think New England has the advantage, even though Jacksonville is playing against Houston. New England is playing Miami with a backup. I don't think Tua's playing this week.
Really? I haven't heard that.
I think Teddy Two Love is playing this week, and
interesting. I hadn't heard that.
If you look at all the defenses, I think New England's either 1 or 2.
Yeah,
with points scored. So
they're really good, but I mean, in my eyes, I have to give it to Scott. Jacksonville versus Houston in a dome. Like, I think Jacksonville is going to easily take this over New England. So yeah, those are the starting lineups for these 2 championship teams, Super Bowl aspirational teams.
It may change. It may change throughout the week. So.
Yep. Well, it is only Tuesday right now.
Yeah, a lot to think about, a lot of overthinking to do.
Early podcast. You're welcome, guys.
Yes, very rare early podcast.
Yes, but hey, we love it. Yeah. So backup plans, real quick. Scott has Zach Moss, Christian Watson, Rashad White, Geno Smith, Latavius Murray, Deontay Johnson. So those are his backup plans.
He has such a stacked bench.
Yeah, his bench is really good. But I would say that your bench is almost as good, if not, I mean, it's there. You have Dobbins, Palmer, the wide receiver for the Chargers, Algier, who has been actually really good.
Past 2 weeks, I think he's officially the starter now. I think Cordero has to take a back seat.
It's about time. I tried to wait, but I couldn't. And, well, I waited a week too long, I think.
Yeah.
And then you have Mason, the backup running back for San Francisco.
Just a little blanket.
And Jahan Dotson, who, I mean, he has his weeks. He's good.
If you look at his past 3 weeks, man, he's...
Has he been really good with... who was it? Oh, he had Wentz last week, didn't he?
Oh, Wentz came in.
Wentz came in pretty late.
Wentz threw him the touchdown.
Yeah.
But
13.9, 20.5, and 16.6.
I'm very tempted to put him at my flex, guys. We'll see. I don't know.
Over who, though? Pollard? Chubb?
I might have to sit Nick Chubb. And we're going to get to this a bit now.
That'll be... that. I hope you overthink it. I hope that you overthink it into the point where you lose.
I might. because of a rapist.
Ooh, all right. Deshaun, yeah. Calling you out.
Cut it.
Up next, we're going to go over a little bit of a history for these 2 teams, okay? Going all the way back to the draft. Starting with Gifford's team. He still has these players on his team from the original draft. He has, well, I mean, his team's stacked, so you can imagine. CMC, Justin Jefferson, Nick Chubb, George Kittle, Tony Pollard in the 8th round. Wild. Joe Burrow.
We didn't know.
DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean, that's your core. And that is one of the most solid cores that I can think of.
In league history?
I wouldn't go that far. We've had some stacked teams, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this is a better core from the draft, from the get-go, than Scott had. And we'll go over Scott's as well. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. I didn't know there was a question when it came to cores.
No, I don't think so. I mean, CMC, Jettas, and Chubb, you nailed your first 3 picks. That's as good as you can get. Chubb fell too far, and I think everybody's kicking themselves over that.
I think I got lucky that you didn't even attempt to go for the first overall pick. I was able to destroy Brittany beer pong, and
Well, that's the thing. Zach fucked me over with that one, actually.
okay, commish.
Let's go with that. Let's just say that. Zach, I thought that you were going to keep somebody else. I fully did not expect you to keep JT because he was a first round pick. Normally, keepers aren't first round picks. So that one surprised me a lot. And that's why CMC ended up going number 1 to Gifford.
Oh, so you didn't think CMC was... So you thought he was going to slide to number 2?
I thought you were going to take Jonathan Taylor at number 1. And then I would get CMC. However, I mean, Austin Eckler has been top 2 running back this year anyway. So it hasn't really mattered.
But, Zach, I just want to say thank you, because if you didn't make that decision, my whole season would have been changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor would have sunk you.
I wouldn't say
helped.
It would have helped sink me, but it wouldn't have had...
But Jefferson, Chubb, and Kittle.
There would be no 11-game winning streak. There would be no 2,000-point season.
It would be a very different...
I would be 8-6 or 7-7.
Still in the playoffs, but not where you want it.
No.
Where you would like to be.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I definitely should have taken Chubb over Aaron Jones, but that's...
I had the...
Oh, you did.
So I didn't give you the opportunity.
I should have chosen Chubb over Mark Andrews. That was...
Which at the time...
it's...
But can we admit now that Kittle's better than Mark Andrews?
Well, this year, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of last year, you couldn't say that because Kittle was oft injured, and Mark Andrews was looking to be on a crazy trajectory.
I don't know what happened to him. I haven't watched that many Ravens games, but...
Well, he's been hurt a few times, and then his offense just isn't very good. But that's all right. This is about you guys.
I just want to throw on top of this, guys, outside of that, during the season, with that core, I had Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, and Rachaad White on my bench.
3 rookies.
That have been lighting it up all season. That I stupidly either dropped too early or I didn't know who Christian Watson was.
Yeah, Christian Watson didn't go off until like 4 weeks ago.
I think someone told me... I think Devin told me to draft him 16th. I had no clue who he was.
It's because I had so many rookies that, I mean, Christian Watson couldn't take up a spot, and that's my bad.
And now he might be Scott's keeper next year. Wild.
Could be, yeah. For 15th.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's not bad.
But that just shows the depth of... I got to a point where I didn't know who to start each week. I didn't know what to do. So,
but in a good way, because all of them were scoring well. I had the same problem, but in a bad way because, well, half of them wouldn't score at all. But again, not about me. Your biggest trade of the year would be Terry McLaurin for DK Metcalf straight up.
I think that's the only trade I did do the whole year. And
what do you think that did for your team?
I think it did very well. I caught DK right in his stride. Right before, I think right after I made that move, DK had gone off. His best game of the season was against the Lions. We had that shootout against the Lions. Yep. And I picked him up, and I think he had like 6 or 7 straight games over 10 points. He was solid, dependable, got his touchdowns, and Terry is still up and down, even though he's still a very solid receiver. Yep. It was a win-win trade. I don't know why you traded Terry for Kareem Hunt, Eric.
Yeah, it's a little weird thing, but I get it. Desperate times and whatever.
I'm happy that I...
Well, speaking of Eric, I want to give you props. You did just kick me down to... 9th or 10th in the consolation bracket. So.
You are 0-2 against Eric this season.
I want to say I'm 1-2 because I think I played him twice. But either way, I shouldn't have lost to him twice. That's just ridiculous. So props to you, Eric. I'm proud of you for being in 10th place and getting all of your wins against me.
Such a backhanded compliment.
What do you mean? I'm giving you props.
No, but it's like I'm so proud of you for getting paintballed in the ass. But you could beat me twice.
Yeah, exactly. It's my gift to you. Merry Christmas.
All right.
So just a couple little stats. Some very basic stats. You had the 4th most moves on the waiver wire with 36.
Which I typically do every season. I overthink. I see people on the wire that I want, and I make moves.
And that's good. I think Omar had the fewest moves
with 6 or 7.
Yeah, and he got to be in the playoffs. So really, you can do it either way. But I think that it's better to make moves. So that's good.
Yes.
4th most. That's right in the middle. So you're good. Here's where it gets a little bit wild.
A little bit silly.
You had first in points for with 2,084 points. That is about 300 more than second place. That's how dominant he has been all year. And this is why I want Scott to come through and beat him. Because it's been such a smooth ride for him. Man, like you said, 11 game win streak or whatever.
I can't. It's been wild.
It's been ridiculous, is what it has been.
It has been kind of ridiculous.
And to add to that, he had the 3rd fewest points against with 1704. Like, if scoring the most points wasn't the crux of your position, it was that you had so few points scored against you.
I had the 3rd easiest schedule in the league.
That's just ridiculous. No wonder. Like, just looking at this, it's no wonder that you got to where you were.
I was one number 1 pick away and a couple of, high scoring affairs to being 7-7 instead of 12-2.
Yeah, this game is volatile, but I mean it's a cool thing to see. But yeah, I hope that Scott can get this, because after it would be like a 18-1 kind of situation.
It would be.
It would be like an 07 Patriots.
I didn't finish the job, but you know what? If Scott wins, I couldn't think of anybody better to win than than Scott. So I wouldn't be upset if I lost. Honestly, I've doubled my money. I mean,
Yeah.
So
we want to see whose name is going to get on that new trophy. I'm excited to see this weekend.
Yeah, this is the inaugural trophy presentation.
Yep. We will be getting a trophy, and we will be doing a podcast when we do the presentation to.
It should have been a belt, but it's
to cool. Whoever will get it. We took a vote. I'm not just choosing a trophy because
no, they chose the dumb trophy. So
I think the trophy looks cool.
I think it looks cool, but I'd rather just hold it. Like, I gotta do this. And,
right. You can still do that if you're strong enough. I don't know. Can you press that much?
I don't know. We're getting a 50-pound trophy.
We should. I'll just strap on some dumbbells. All right.
So enough of my team. We're going to Scott's team now. We're going to break down his team.
Right. So the people that remain on his team to this day from the draft are Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Deontay Johnson, who he benched at this point because that man has not been good. I'm actually surprised that he's still on this team.
I don't think he scored a touchdown all season.
Oh man, it has been brutal to watch the Steelers offense.
Yes.
Scott was just all in on Deontay. This is when I wish we took a video of the draft, because Scott was hell-bent.
Oh, I mean, Deontay. If we took a video of the draft, I mean, me being high on Allen Robinson.
Right.
I was so high on
Allen Robinson. Some crazy takes during the draft.
Man, I thought Allen Robinson was going to be like wide receiver 2. Matt Stafford was healthy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Forget about that.
High hopes for the Rams.
Forget about that.
Cam Akers, top 5 running back.
3rd round.
Yeah, no. I'm excited for this next year when we have this. I'm hoping to set up the camera and just stream the whole thing.
That shows how paper thin it is at like running back that we're excited about Cam Akers.
Right.
And even though like we were excited about him, like, I mean, he was always a risky play even before the draft started. So,
but that's how it goes. You never know. Up next, let's see who else. Amon-Ra St. Brown was a great pick. That was a late pick too. So good on you with him.
I don't know how he was a late pick, but how we let him get away with that?
I don't know, because he came alive last
How the
year.
fuck did we let Deontay get drafted before?
No, because that was Scott's guy. Like I was saying, Scott was crazy for Deontay.
I would like to rewatch that draft because I don't know who got drafted before Amon-Ra, but I would love to.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of crazy picks, that's for sure.
Half of them came from Apple. Right. Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman. I'll never let him live that down.
Apple was not a great drafter. Oh man, this is fun. We should see all the other teams too.
Oh well, that'll be an off-season
Yeah,
review.
that can be some off-season.
Because you guys are losers.
Because the off-season is long, and there's a lot to go over. It's just fun to talk about.
You guys aren't important right now.
I wouldn't say that. All right, Scott's. So yeah, Scott's core, if we can call it that, from his draft, not as good because really it contains 3 good players, and that's Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes.
Those are your guys, but I mean, it's nowhere compared to CMC, Jettas, Chubb, Kittle, Pollard, even Burrow and D-Hop. Like, all of those guys are still solid contributors, like top 10 at their position each. And
every time I hear those last names, it's just I'm trying not to smile. It's just like
try not to just jizz yourself, man.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I feel bad for your mom because she has to wash your clothes and just constantly sticky.
Yes.
Just because you talk about your fantasy football team all the time.
Absolutely. All those jizzing hours just to get $300.
All right, bitching hour, more like jizzing hour.
Jizzing hour? Riz God.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Jizz God.
Your big trade this year was Kenneth Walker, Curtis Samuel, and Rashad Bateman for Devonta Smith and Keenan Allen.
And halfway, throughout that trade, we gave up on it. Keenan was hurt. Devontae wasn't performing, and you were very frustrated. Kenneth Walker was on fire.
Yep.
The past 2 or 3 weeks have turned around mightily.
And that's what matters. Playoffs.
Keenan Allen is getting literally 13 to 14 targets a game. Devontae Smith has been on fire.
Crazy.
And Kenneth Walker has slowed down with our offense. Curtis Samuel is on the waiver wire.
Yeah, but he's been okay, though. Curtis Samuel's okay.
And Bateman is on IR for the rest of the season. So I think Scott won that trade.
At this point, I think that's fair to say.
So, Tatani, you are 0-2 in big trades this season. You fuckface.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't mean that, Tatani. You're not.
Yes, you did. Fuck off. Yeah, that trade, if this was a dynasty league, that trade would still be a little bit sus because, I mean, Ken Walker is still a running back, is still the number 1 on the team. But this year, redraft, that's a great trade for you, Scott. Good job on that.
Yes.
Really, really proud of that one. So for your stats, couple little stats, you had the single most moves on the waiver wire.
Every time it was Wednesday night, or not even Wednesday morning.
Yep, Tuesday night.
12:03 a.m. My phone would blow up. Boom, boom, boom.
Picking up defenses, kickers, all
Feeling thirsty, making moves. Woke me up during some sleeping hours, but
right.
Scott was active on the trade on the waiver wire.
Yep.
He knew when to pick people up and had some great pickups. So kudos to him.
Just thinking back, because this league has been going on for 6 years, and I've been playing fantasy with Scott for a little bit longer than that.
Is that a yearly thing?
No, that has been a couple years now. That's only been like three or 4 years. The other league that we're in.
No, I'm talking about Scott making moves.
Oh, making moves. No, so just the drastic difference between when you first started playing fantasy, Scott, and now. It's crazy to see.
He's playing Moneyball now.
Yeah, now you're looking good. You have all the names that people are like, are they really that good? And they are that good, just like Moneyball.
He's starting to make reads. These backups who are projected to go off, they go off. So
yeah. So most moves on the wire. Sometimes, I mean, here's a fun thing. He made, I think, 200 moves one year. That was
no way
wild. No, he was constantly on there, just constantly making moves, and he did not. I don't even know if he made the playoffs that year.
But it was the effort,
I guess. But now he's making smart moves, still making a lot, but now they're smarter. So yeah, most moves on the wire.
Just to redeem my comment about Tatani, I know we roasted you about Robbie Anderson week 1. I will admit, throughout the year, Tatani has made some good waiver wire pickups. I've peeped like some of the backups he's gotten some good pickups. So
yeah, he did okay, and that's why he made the playoffs. But as we all know, he got kicked out.
Yeah.
For points 4, you ended up 5th, Scott, with 1751. which, I mean, middle of the pack. It's whatever. You made the playoffs.
It was 13 away from 1738.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Uh, so it just proves that, points for aren't the biggest stat in the world, because I was right there, right next to you, and I didn't even make the playoffs. So making the playoffs is more important than points for.
You had your
and that's what you did.
buds close to it, but...
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, points for didn't really matter. What apparently does matter is points against. Because, man, first in points against with 1596. That's the fewest.
If we put that into perspective, guys, we had 14 weeks of football before the playoffs started. Mm-hmm. That's a little over maybe 105 points a week that Scott had to go up against.
Your opponents were just a walk in the park.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
Your team didn't have to try very hard. So, I mean...
Man, that's something that we can look into. If I had your schedule or Gifford had your schedule, I think
for me that wouldn't change for me, because... You
don't think you'd be like 13-1? 14-0?
I would have been 14-0 for sure.
That's... Oh, man.
Outscoring opponents by what? That would be 500 points?
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. So, yeah, to put that in perspective, you had 40 fewer than second place. And that's significant over the year. So, yeah, those are our two Super Bowl teams. Who do you have winning the whole thing?
It's me. And, guys, I'm not sorry about it.
You shouldn't be.
It's time. It's time.
It's been a brutal 6 years for you.
Yeah. And now I'm under the light.
Right. Thank you.
I'm here. I've arrived.
I'm glad. Honestly, I'm happy with either one of you because it is a new winner. I don't like leagues that are always the same winner.
Except me. Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I'm happy. However, because of the easy schedule that you've had and the just cakewalk that you've had,
you're gonna pick the bigger cakewalk. Makes sense,
Not
right?
the bigger cake. He had 5th points for.
Yeah, but
I'm going with Scott. Scott, I hope that you win.
Everybody hopes you win, Scott. Let's give Scott a round of applause.
Absolutely.
You got Brittany on your side. I mean, I'm sure
you have a few.
I'm sure you got a couple of the league on, but
good luck, Scott.
And Scott, for this week, it represents a lot. It's gonna be a tough battle. We're going to war this weekend.
Corny ass.
And you're not here. But I'm here. Mean?
What?
And you know what that means? That means I'm going to show up. And I'm going to take what's rightfully mine.
Of course.
Because you're not going to be there. It's going to be a cakewalk, Scott. Because, honestly, it's been easy all season. Brittany, you were easy. Light work.
Excuse you. She's not easy.
Okay. Not that way. Not that way. But the whole league, y'all were easy. Y'all were munches.
Okay. All right.
If I should say. And this week, you're just not good enough, Scott.
Not good enough. You hear this, man?
And I'm going to be lifting up that trophy.
If you can.
If I can, I got small arms. But this represents everything.
Because Scott's been putting in work in the gym. He's getting ready to hold up that trophy.
Scott has been looking great. Scott looks great, by the way.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of weight. He looks much stronger. But this isn't about the gym.
Can't wait for the combine.
That
should be a podcast episode.
This is about fictional fantasy managers. And I was the #1 fictional fantasy manager this year. I'm going to lift it up.
I like that. I like it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, those are your parting words. Congratulations to the two hopefuls. Well,
off the bitching hour.
Yeah, bitching hour. What do you have this week?
I have some concerns.
After all that talk, now you're going to talk about the concerns.
It was only because he didn't show up.
Right.
That was just
come on, Scott.
Honestly, is CMC gonna play? Are they gonna risk Jeddah's breaking Calvin Johnson's regular season record? I don't know. I have a lot of ifs, buts, maybes this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Do I start Chubb? I can't believe that's even a question.
Yeah.
But I was always taught to start your studs.
As you should.
So I'm going down that road.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at it, you have Joe Burrow who's going to have to play because his team is right there.
DK is going to have to play.
DK is going to have to play, but he is also facing Sauce.
Yes.
D-Hop, they don't have a lot to play for, and he has a backup quarterback. Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco, I guess, has a lot to play for. They're still in the running for the first round, the bye, and they're playing Las Vegas, so that could be a good one for you. Tony Pollard in Dallas.
Playing a lot.
Yep. They have the division that they could still win. George Kittle, San Francisco, again, just like Christian McCaffrey, they have a lot to play for, so that's a good one.
But then again, I got some hungry dogs on my bench. The Ravens are still fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So Jahan Dotson and the Commanders are still fighting for a playoff spot. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think you have that much to worry about. Like, yes, you have a couple, but I see it being another high-scoring week for you. But I still hope that Scott gets a higher scoring week.
He very well could have a higher scoring week.
Absolutely. So yeah, my biggest bitch, I mean, he just gave a speech about it, is Scott not being here, man. Come on.
We planned it yesterday night.
Yesterday. And
last night. Yeah. Why did I say yesterday night? I sound like a dummy.
It doesn't matter. Because at least you got to say something because you're here. You know, it's supposed to be the championship week. We're supposed to have the two studs of the league.
Well, screw work. I mean, this is it.
Right?
Like, who cares about work?
He's not even working. He has this week off.
Exactly.
And he's still putting it off.
Even when I'm at work, that's all I'm thinking about. It's just this weekend.
Right. So that's it. That's
New Year's. What? Who cares about New Year's?
Yeah, at this point, are you coming to New Year's? Well, I guess we'll see this weekend. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to bitch about. Do you have anything else?
I need this, guys.
You need this.
I need this. I don't know if 12-2 will ever come again, and I just need to etch my name into championship.
To the championship lore.
Yeah, the championship lore.
Yes, I think so.
Yep.
You know what? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year. It has been a fantastic year. I'm really excited that this was our league. I'm happy that we had a fun year. I'm glad that everybody got to, get in some fun matches. Unfortunately, a couple teams were just not up to snuff, but that happens every year.
Yes.
But it was a pretty evenly matched league this year. Except for Gifford.
I don't think we've had a lopsided league in of course, if we count you or Chanel, it always seems like 2nd through 10 is always
they're pretty mixed.
It's always a dogfight. So until we get a year where it's more exciting, where the 1 seed has to fight,
right,
to keep their 1 seed, then that's where it gets tasty. But guys, please continue to improve. Don't get discouraged with your first year. My first year was dog shit.
Specifically, Zach.
Yeah,
that's the only.
Please do your research and
We'd love to have you back next
and be
year.
Motivated to beat us. If you want to be number 1 seed and shut this mouth up, then do something about it.
Okay.
Draft better.
Man, 1 year in the 1 seed, and this is what happens.
Oh, I got 3rd place 1 year. But guys,
we're happy that everybody joined. I am, at least. I'm glad that this is our group. I like this group.
Our draft was actually down to I think a couple days before the draft. Zach really saved our draft. So
yeah, that's about all we have for week 17. Congratulations again to everybody that made the playoffs, and the 2 fighting for 3rd right now too, because you're fighting to get your money back, Tommy and Brittany. Good luck to both of you guys. And remember, a shrimp's heart is in its head. We'll see you guys next week.
And always remember that all I do is EW, baby. Let's go! Championship week! Woo!
Goodbye.